everyone! Welcome back sa ating lahat and wala nang paligoy-ligoy pa. I am your licensed agriculturist. Welcome back sa ating YT channel and FB page. So ang topic na focus natin ngayon is about the principles of soil science and iisa-isahin natin yung subtopics nito. Let's start with the concept of the soil. So sa aming mga agriculturists and nag-aaral ng agriculture, we don't see the soil as a dirt. So sa amin, it is a living natural resource made up of minerals, organic matter, water, and air. So it provides plants with support, water, and nutrients. Kaya kinoconsider namin siya as the foundation of agriculture. And kung papansinin natin, kung i-observe natin yung iba pang mga industry, hindi talaga yan maitatayo kung wala ang lupa. Okay, himay-himayin natin yan. Ano bang ibig sabihin yan? Now, when we ask what is soil, many people think of it as just the loose dirt covering the ground or covering the earth. But in soil science po, we understand that soil is much more than that. Anong ibig sabihin yan? It is a complex natural system. So, the definition of soil actually depends on how we look at it. Again, depende yan sa kung paano natin ito tinitignan and kung ano yung perspective ng isang taong tumitingin dito. For example, a geologist may see soil as weathered layer of rocks, while an agriculturist or agronomist views soil as the medium that supports plant growth by providing nutrients, water, and a place for roots to anchor. Sa, sa isang ecologist naman, soil is also a living environment filled with organisms katulad na lang ng earthworms, fungi, and bacteria na nakakatulong sa pag-recycle ng nutrients. For agribusiness naman, the most important view is that soil is a vital resource for farming. And we all know that farming is the foundation of crop production and food security. So ang healthy na lupa, ibig sabihin niyan ay mas better yields, lower production costs, and sustainable farming. Okay, balik naman tayo kay agriculture. In agriculture, again, gusto ko lang i-emphasize ng paulit-ulit, we don't just see soil as ordinary dirt. It is the natural medium na kung saan dito po nag-grow ang plants. And it is made up of four main components. Yung nabanggit natin kanina na minerals, organic matter, water, and air. And yung balance nitong apat na to, ito yung nagde-determine kung gaano ka-fertile ang lupa. So, soil plays many important roles. Kung i-observe lang natin yung kapaligiran natin, no? Ang lupa, ito yung nag-a-anchor sa ugat ng halaman, kaya ito nakakatayo upright. Aside from that, it also stores and supplies water and nutrients na kinakailangan ng plants to survive. Wala na akong boses talaga. To survive and to grow. And it even serves as habitat for beneficial organisms like earthworms and microbes that improve soil health. So, wala nang edit-edit to guys. Wala pang script-script. Yan. So, meron tayong dalawang branches ng soil science and based dito sa dalawang branches na to, i-define natin yung lupa. So, we have the pedology and edaphology. Ano bang pinagkaiba ng dalawang yan? Now, pedology, it is the branch of soil science that studies soil as a natural body. So, yung word na pedon, it refers to the smallest volume of soil that shows all its characteristics, katulad na lang ng layer ng lupa or yung tinatawag nating soil horizon. Now, from this perspective, soil is not just material for growing plants. It is something that has formed or that has been formed over time by different environmental factors, katulad ng climate, organisms, parent material, topography, and time. So when we say pedological standpoint, we look at soil like a living history book ng nature. So dito kasi makikita natin kung paano ba na-shape ng environment yung lupa. For example, yung red soils na nakikita natin sa sa ibang part ng Pilipinas dahil yan sa long-term weathering and iron accumulation. While yung mga dark fertile soils naman, ibig sabihin mataas yan sa organic matter. So ibig sabihin, ito yung tumutulong sa atin para maintindihan na hindi lang para maintindihan na kung paano ba dapat gamitin ang lupa. And at the same time, kung paano ba ito nabuo and bakit ba ganito yung behavior ng specific na lupa. Yan, maiintindihan natin yan dito pagdating kay pedology. Okay? Now, when we study soil through pedology, nakafocus tayo sa kung paano ba ito nabuo, ano ba yung pagkakaiba ng iba't ibang lupa na nakikita natin, and saan ba sila matatagpuan. Now, the process of soil formation is called pedogenesis. So this is how rocks, climate, organisms, and time work together to slowly create soil. Now, once na mabuo ang lupa, soils are not all the same. So, yung mga scientists natin, they classify them into distinct types. Katulad na lang ng pagka-classify natin sa crops and animals into groups. Now, pedology also looks at the spatial distribution of soils, which means how different soil types are spread out across a landscape. So this is done through soil mapping, na kung saan yung iba't ibang areas ay ina-identify according sa type or according sa kind ng lupa na meron sila. Now, for farmers and agriculturists, this is very important. Why? Because knowing what type of soil is in your land, it tells you kung ano ba yung crops na the best na i-grow sa specific area. And ano ba yung mga fertilizers na talagang kinakailangan. And it also guide you kung paano ba i-manage ang land in a sustainable manner. Diba? Pedology pa lang tayo, ang haba na. Now, pedologist or soil scientist na ang specialization nila ay, of course, pedology, tinitignan nila ang lupa as something na independent natural body with its own identity and characteristics. Ang ibig sabihin nito, soil is studied as something unique. Katulad na lang ng mga tao, katulad natin, meron tayong mga distinct set of traits katulad na lang ng height, skin color, personality. Now sa soil, again, katulad ng mga tao, no, ang soil ay meron din itong mga characteristics. Meron itong sariling texture, structure, color, what else, composition, and layers or horizon that make it different from other soil. For example, sa mga lupa, sa mga, ano bang pwede natin example dito? Sa rice paddy sa Nueva Ecija. Very different ito sa volcanic soils ng Batangas. And both are different from sandy soils in Pangasinan. And each has its own origin, properties, and behavior regardless of whether people use it for farming or not. So itong perspective na to, tumutulong ito sa pag-appreciate natin sa yung tinatawag nating soil as a living, dynamic system that deserves to be studied on its own term, not just as tool for agriculture. Okay, napakalalim ng pedology, ano? Now, when we study soils, we don't just call them clay or sandy. So scientists have created a classification system to organize soils much like how we classify living things like kingdom, phylum, class, and etc. In soil science, alam yan ng mga estudyante namin, kailangan nilang i-memorize lahat to, ano? Soils are grouped into different levels. Orders, suborders, grade groups, subgroups, families, and series. And each level gives more details about the soil property. Okay? Katulad na lang ng how it was formed, its texture, color, and chemical behavior. So one of the most widely used system is the USDA soil taxonomy. Now this system allows soil scientists all over the world to use a common language when describing soils. For example, a soil order called mollisols is known for being very fertile and is common in grassland areas, making it excellent for agriculture. Now, on the other hand, hindi kasi gaanong nakikita sa ating screen, ano? On the other hand, ultisols are more weathered soils with fewer nutrients. So, ibig sabihin, kung mas mababa yung nutrients niya, mas nagre-require siya ng management for farming. So just like doctors, katulad ng mga doktor, na nagka-classify ng diseases to better understand kung paano ba i-treat yung mga tao, ang mga soil scientists na kagaya namin, we classify soils to better understand how to manage them for farming, forestry, and environmental purposes. Okay. Now, when pedologists map soil types, they are basically showing us where different soils were located across a landscape. Just like how a weather map shows kung saan ba uulan, kung saan aaraw. Ayan. So these soil maps are very important because they guide land use planning. So lahat ng munisipyo dito sa Pilipinas, meron tayong tinatawag na CLUP, yung land use plan nila. Now, aside from that, nakakatulong din ito sa farming decisions and even environmental management. For example, in the soil map of Bayambang, Pangasinan, we see areas with Alaminos sandy loam. Ayan, nakikita natin sa ating screen. Pangasinan River Sand, Tarlac City Loam, and Umingan Silt Loam. So each of these soils has unique characteristics. A sandy loam drains water quickly but may need more fertilizers para ma-retain yung nutrients. A silt loam, on the other hand, mas nakakapag-hold ito ng water and nutrients, making it more fertile for crops. Ang river sand naman might be useful for some crops or for construction but less ideal for rice farming. Now, by looking at these maps, farmers and agriculturists or even agribusiness practitioners can decide kung ano ba yung crop na itatanim nila, in which area, and what management practices are needed. And also how to avoid problems like erosion or poor drainage. Now, for instance, kapag nagtanim ka ng rice sa sandy soil, of course, magi-struggle ka na makapag-retain ng water and nutrients. But if you plant root crops or peanuts sa sandy na lupa, it may perform better. Okay? So in short, soil mapping is like giving farmers a guidebook for their land, and it helps us maximize production while caring for the environment. Okay, pedology pa lang yan. Now, for our discussion, ikakat ko lang muna dito para hindi sobrang haba ng ating discussion. So sa susunod, we will be discussing about the edaphology. Okay, thank you. Yan.